start yet, so we're doing well. I hope everybody, it looks like everybody's enjoying the food. I hope you're having a good time, getting a lot of chatting. People are seeing people they haven't seen for a long time, so that's really nice. Mostly I just want to say welcome and thank you for being here. I want to introduce our steering committee, which is the group that puts on this event every year. Please, everybody on the steering committee, would you stand up and that we all remember. Okay, we have Barb and Dave Arlington, Sally Stern, Julian Catherine, Kathleen Webb, Ann Jacobson, Pat Summers, Frank, you're over here. Okay. And who did I miss here? John, Augustine, Shelley, I got you. All right. Also, thanks to Sages and Bremix who gave us some of these lovely centerpieces today, and to all the people who have helped, and the caterer who is doing such a wonderful job. Thank you so much. This is our 5th annual Heroes of Conservation event. So, and we have honored a number of people who in our community have done wonderful things for conservation in Geauga County. And we hope to continue doing that for a long, long time. While it's our 5th event, we are now into our 6th year of howling like coyotes. So we can all be proud of that. We've been hanging in here for a long time. So before we get started, we'll have I'm doing the welcome. We're going to have Shelley do our annual story of Heroes of Conservation, how this actually came about. So Shelley, would you like to step up?
Thanks, Kathy. I can't believe it's 5 years. This boggles my mind. Because it just feels like yesterday when the story that I'm about to tell you happened. So, all of you, and thank you to all my dear heroes. It's a fabulous thing. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm an empty nester with a home business that I could take anywhere. And I choose to live in Geauga County because the natural beauty of the area fills me with awe every single day. I just love it here. So on a dark and stormy day in June of 2015, I had the great privilege of participating in a hike with Jim Bissell, who was one of our heroes of conservation a couple years ago. And Jim led this hike in a place called Culliker Fen, which is right here in Munson Township. And a small group of us, curious and excited nature lovers, gathered that morning to see this truly special and hidden place in Geauga County. Before we hiked down a hill into the fen, we stood by the road in a cold, really drenching rain while Jim taught us about fens. We learned that a fen is a very special place. It's a type of wetland fed by underground streams and groundwater. It's less acidic than a bog. Fens are extremely rare in Ohio and are home to many unusual and endangered plants and insects. We heard about some of these, including a rare and beautiful purple orchid for which Culliker Fen is famous. And then we headed in waterproof boots and rain gear down a hill and into the fen. It was still dark and rainy as we began our walk toward the fen. But then, just as we got to the fen itself, the rain stopped. For a moment, the sun peeked out, and what a magical place we saw. As soon as we got to the fen, Jim told us how to identify and avoid the poison sumac there, which was really important to know. Then we followed Jim through the fen, trying as best as we could not to sink too far into the ground, which was very, very soft. And actually, at one point, I did sink into the ground. I had boots that were up to my knees, and the ground was way above the top of the boots, and I got all wet inside my boots. But well worth it. So Jim stopped many times along the walk to talk to us about all the lush and just fascinating array of ferns and sedges and all kinds of other plants and insects, none of which I'd ever seen before. And it just amazed me to be able to experience all these things that I had never experienced before, so close to my home, 10-minute drive from my house. After our special time in the Fen, we returned to the top of the hill and Jim said his goodbyes. Some of us stayed a little longer, even though it had started to rain again, just to talk about our experience. One member of our group told us the story of how Dr. and Mrs. Culliker discovered the Fen. I learned of the personal sacrifices that the Cullikers had made to protect the Fen from encroaching development. I had just personally experienced the magic of the Fen thanks to Jim Bissell. And now I was listening to the inspiring and touching story of the people who not only made my experience possible, but who persevered in the face of a cultural and an economic climate that was more interested in making money from the land than in protecting, conserving, and preserving this uniquely special place for generations to come. And I thought to myself, the Cullikers are true heroes of conservation, and the idea to honor the heroes of conservation of Geauga County was born. Now I'd like to introduce this year's Heroes of Conservation poet, Bob Coughlin. Bob was born in Willoughby on the Lake and raised from age 3 in Euclid. He's lived in Hamden since 1997 and has taught poetry at Lakeland Community College since 1988. His poetry is influenced by the works of Robert Frost, Mary Oliver, and Walt Whitman. Won't you help me to welcome Bob Coughlin?
They asked me, the 7th best poet in this room at this very moment, to read some poems. I have 6 poems for you. And the first one is called November in Northern Ohio. Before the darkness descends, this moment of distilled grace, skies blue as robin egg, woods aflame with sugar maple dressed in fall finery, oranges, yellows, reds. Keep the clear days and nights in memory when December falls, with its gloom of cloudy darkness, when your heart is on ice, waiting for the transplant. As I was looking through my poems, trying to figure out what to read today, I ran across a poem that my daughter Carolyn wrote in 2003 when she was a freshman at Ohio University. In northeast Ohio, the buckle of the snow belt does not rust slowly into the freeze and gloom and white permanent winter. It explodes, crimson orange flames bursting from the branches, fireworks, a sunset, a campfire. The glory and celebration and excitement sustain the hidden embers of warmth, of color, of life. When the snow doesn't stop falling and the sun forgets to visit, we will grasp tightly to the fire of fall, and the eternal glow will keep us strong. This poem is called We Are the Witnesses. When I look around the room here, I see the witnesses and the warriors for Mother Nature. So this is We Are the Witnesses. We, the children of Henry Thoreau, Emily Dickinson, Walt Whitman, Mary Oliver, we, you and I, are the woods walkers, the wildflower wanderers, the appreciators and protectors of the ponds and vernal pools. We, you and I, my friends, are the thunderstorm enthusiasts, the blizzard lovers, the spring rain singers. We hunt for the skunk cabbage and other first signs of spring. We sing the glory of late summer, the goldenrod, black-eyed Susan, blue aster, ironweed. We look for the first frost, first snowflakes. We put our ear and eye to the winter, the first morning bird concert, the promise of the red-twig dogwood. We are the witnesses. We put our passion for the wild into our poetry, music, art, and action. And I think that action is so important. This is called Cat Nation Ghosts, and I got the title Cat Nation from the idea that the Erie Indians, they were known to the French Jesuits as Nation du Chat, the Cat Nation. And they were victims of genocide around 1655 at the hands of the Iroquois Federation. Cat Nation ghosts. Only the subtle see the signs. Panthers haunt these woods, leave titillating traces, names somewhat corrupted: Geauga, Chagrin, Cuyahoga, Erie,